Far more people in Westeros love you than love me. I don't have love here. I only have fear.
I love you. And you will always be my queen.
Is that all I am to you? Your queen. All right then. Let it be fear.
Welcome, everybody, to the Back of the Bus podcast. I'm back. Sucks for you, Plex.
Thanks for filling in, though, pal.
Yeah, did a great job. Actually, did a lot better than I could have ever done. So thank you very much for filling in for me. You are always welcome. You now have a hall pass to come in on over this podcast whenever you want.
Or just spooge anywhere you want.
Yeah, I was just going to say come on, and then I went in first. I was like, I don't know. Here we go.
Fuck it.
Anyway, I'm back, everybody. The favorite heel. I'm here. The biggest heel in Kendall. I like that. That's my new nickname. The biggest heel in Kendall.
Biggest heel in Kendall.
Yeah. It almost goes as good as that douchey story that we had one time coming out of Kendall Ale House where the guy yells, "I'm the king of Kendall, bro!"
Yo, that shit was so funny. We'll tell that later.
Oh, my God. That was a great night.
Anyway, he's half.
And you're black.
There you go.
And we are the Back of the Bus podcast. Thank you for listening wherever you're listening to us. Remember, 5 stars if you love us, 5 stars if you hate us, 7 pointy stars. I just stole that from Binge Mode, so you sue me.
So what he's talking about, the 5 stars, just make sure you rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah, man, all the good
that
things.
shit, that helps a lot, helps us get
share us with your friends, your mom, your dad, anybody.
Drop like an Instagram post. I don't know.
Put it on your stories.
Friends of ours, anyway.
Speaking of new friends, we've got some new friends.
We do. We absolutely do.
And we want you guys to listen to them too. They're a cool podcast based out of Miami. They do crime podcasts. So think of like cereal, right? But not like cereal that you put in a bowl, but like cereal like the podcast. So anyway, their Instagram handle is
Crime Talk TZ.
Our new friends from Crime Talk TZ. Listen to their podcast. I just started following them. I had to true story, had to download a different podcast app just so that I could support a little bit because I use Pocket Cast and they aren't on Pocket Cast, so I had to download Stitcher to add them.
That's funny.
But anyway, listen to it. It's really cool, man. Support local people, support local podcasts. That's how you get more people to do this.
That's right.
All right.
And we're looking forward to maybe setting something up, like some kind of crossover episode with them sometime down the road. So
yeah, basically,
we'll see how that goes.
Basically the way Black has planned it is that after I give my review of Game of Thrones Season 8, he's going to murder me. Then they're going to come to a podcast on the subsequent trial.
There you go. The investigation of me murdering Half for his ridiculous take on this fucking season of Game of Thrones.
Best season ever.
Which I guess we're about to get to right now. And this is absolutely not the best season ever.
It is totally the best season. Okay, so last episode, where were we? Where did we leave ourselves off at? Danny getting ready to...
Well, Missandei died.
Yeah, Missandei got her lob chopped off.
I thought you said got hurt. I was like, she got a little bit more than hurt.
Oh, well, no. She got hurt. And then it left everybody to be kind of up in the air, I guess. Like, with the general consensus at the end of that episode was that Danny was going to go crazy, right?
Right.
And so that kind of fulfills the prophecy, or not the prophecy, but the theory that, she's going to become the Mad Queen, like her father, the Mad King.
So I guess we're gonna just run through it first.
Yeah, run through the episode.
Right.
Let's do this.
So we left off, like I said, Rhaegal dead, Missandei dead, Dany's forces, whatever there was, arranged right in front of Cersei's forces, and they could have just killed everybody right there, and they didn't. Boom. This episode starts with Varys.
Yeah.
With Varys talking to one of his little birds. Did you catch the bit that it seemed like he was trying to poison Dany?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Like, she wouldn't eat, so now it's like, oh, man, Varys is trying to poison her. That's dope.
So I noticed that at the time when I was watching it, and then I kind of just, whatever, like I ignored it.
Yeah.
And then somebody mentioned it today, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, he was trying to poison her.
He was trying to poison her. Absolutely. So anyway, yeah, you get that. He's writing these little love letters to somebody.
No, he's writing fucking Raven scrolls to send out, trying to like put John's name out there.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
what
get
it
it. Love
seems
letters. Love letters about John.
Sure.
Danny catches wind.
Then he goes out to meet John.
Yeah.
And kind of drops him like, yo, you want to be king or what the fuck's going on?
And of course, John being the useless John that he is all season.
Yeah, just with the same, she's my queen. Like, can you say something else, my dude?
It's pretty hard because I still think he's trying to decompress the fact that he fucked his aunt.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So he turns the crown down again. Then we get the scene with Tyrion telling Dany about the betrayal. Immediately she
blames John.
She blames John, and she circles back through how it's everybody's fault, but ultimately still John's.
Yep.
So then they arrest Varys.
Yep.
She drops Daenerys Stormborn, bomb, you die, and she drops the best Dracarys she's dropped on the show. Because it was so stone cold fucking like...
Yep.
Like if she was ordering a fucking frappe.
Just Dracarys.
Dracarys.
And then one of the greatest scenes, just like...
Visually, yeah.
Drogon just...
So...
Varys didn't go out like a bitch. He didn't scream. He just took it like a man.
So a little bit of a jump, like we jumped something. We did have in between those two sequences, we had the conversation with John and Dany.
Yes,
I think it's important to mention because
I think it has to be mentioned because in that conversation she says, "Fear it is." Then
like some shit like that.
And so that kind of I think that right there locks it.
Yeah,
that right there locks up the fact that she's chosen the other way, which is funny because everyone I saw on the Reddits, because I do the Reddits, everyone on the Reddit's like, this is so out of character for her. And I'm just like, whoa, you've got 7 other seasons where she says lines. Maybe her actions are different, but she says lines of like, blood or fire? Like, come on, man.
But we'll get to that. Don't jump ahead.
Oh, don't tickle you beforehand?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So anyway.
But the one thing I do want to piggyback on what you did say is that John right there probably should have laid down the pipe.
Yeah, man. He could have saved all those people with just his deed.
Or maybe that conversation can go a little bit of a different way. John's entire dialogue has consisted of, she is my queen.
Yeah.
For fucking 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Would you agree that John could have gone to Dany and said, listen, babe, I love you. You're super hot. You're also my aunt. It's kind of weird for me. I'm going to need some time. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I'm never going to drop the hammer on you. But I'm just going to need some time to readjust to all this shit what's going on because it's heavy. Like, it's weird. I'm not used to it. And she maybe would have been like, all right, cool. Because this whole thing about one of the reasons that she snapped is because she doesn't feel loved. And she tells John, right, I don't have love over here. Everybody here loves you more, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So he could have given her something to pacify her, and he's just fucking, I love you, and then, no, I can't kiss you anymore, and like that's it. Like that's not how real people would deal with each other in that situation.
Well, real people wouldn't bang their aunts, so there's that.
Have you been to Florida?
Yes.
Alabama?
No.
That shit happens all the time.
I've never been to Alabama.
Okay. You can read about it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you can read about it. It happens all the time.
Good for Alabama.
I think that whole sequence could have been handled by John differently. Anyway, she goes, she executes Varys, then has the conversation with Tyrion in the throne room after, she tells him, you got one more shot.
Yeah, oh, and then about Jaime.
And then she tells him as he's walking out, I caught your brother.
And then
they make camp in, on the shores of King's Landing.
Yep.
Tyrion frees Jaime, somehow convinces the fucking Unsullied to let him go see his brother, who's prisoner.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have a very nice scene together.
A really touching scene.
They did. Yeah. I got to give them that. Again, it's a stupid plan, but nice scene. John, Davos, and Tyrion and Grey Worm kind of talk about what the plan is for the battle.
Yep.
Then we get the battle.
Great battle.
The whole thing that Tyrion wanted was for Jaime to ring the bells to signal the surrender so Dany wouldn't murder everybody.
But hey, hold on. Before that, great battle.
Sure.
Great battle.
But from whom?
From Drogon.
Yeah, my man. So, can you explain to me how from like one episode to the next, the dragon's agility rating just shot up to like
Yeah, it was a
99?
patch. It was a patch.
Yeah, okay. They just updated.
They updated a patch. Well, the Westeros patch. Yeah, absolutely.
They had to just update their rating because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had a shitty rating in the initial Madden. All right.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why they did dumb plan in season 7. That's why they were blind, and then they rebooted the Iron Fleet in last week's episode. They needed to nerf Danny, and so now that the patch is set, now they could really,
Because he's just dodging fucking scorpion shots. Like, it's all good.
He's also the best dragon out of all three.
Yeah.
Of them.
Still, give me one scene of her having Gendry build her one of those things and her training on fucking Drogon to like. Give me something.
Really?
Give me
I
something.
didn't need that. I didn't need that at all. I just took it. I was like, all right, let's go.
No. Okay.
She used what's his name's maneuver in flying up to the sun and flying down from the sun so that they didn't see her.
Yeah.
Cool maneuver. Takes out the Iron Fleet.
But the thing is, why do you know that is a maneuver?
Huh?
Why do you know that that's a maneuver that was used before?
Oh, because Reddit told me.
Right. So the show didn't tell you.
No.
So this is what we're talking about with the writing. Anyway.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay.
It is.
Fine.
It's absolutely okay.
So she blows all the fucking scorpions away somehow.
That's great.
It's fantastic.
Oh my God, the Golden Company too.
She
Poor Harry Strickland.
she lays waste to the Golden Company somehow
Harry Strickland and his horse.
in unbelievable fashion. These guys have the worst plus minus in the history of sports. They came out and did nothing and got mopped.
Yeah, man. They were basically
The best mercenary company ever. Okay, who's more useless, the Golden Company or the Night King's generals?
No, the Golden Company, because the Night King's generals at least resurrected some people from the dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
All right. I'll fuck with that.
the Golden Company was, dude.
So was okay? We'll get to the end.
But it was great.
Yeah.
Great. I loved it.
It was the sequence was awesome.
Yeah.
Drogon's just laying waste to all the defensive structures, and she murks the Golden Company. She's flaming everybody. Maybe some of her own people. I'm not sure.
I've got to imagine that she's flamed some of her own people.
All
At
right.
some point.
Then
Yeah.
she lands on the walls.
Yep.
John and the remaining forces
Davos and Grey Worm.
are face to face with the Lannister forces.
They put down their
who
arms.
surrender.
Yes.
Cersei's just chilling, staring
At that point, here's the thing. At that point, that's when my WWE kicks in, because I looked at the clock and I was like, "Nah, man,
There's too much time left.
somebody's coming out. There's too much time left."
Yeah.
And then that's when I knew what was going to happen. They started hitting the bells, and man, did those bells piss Danny off.
Yeah. So she says, "Fuck it," and she starts.
I think there was some
waste.
context in there that we didn't get to see, right? And this is where I think the writers do such a good job after the show when they have their little snippets. I think they do such a great job there in explaining a lot of the things.
Wow, you just pissed off. Listen, Daenerys Nation and everybody else, I totally do not condone what he is saying because that is ludicrous.
Okay, so here's the thing. They do a great job after in explaining, and they said that. They were like, listen, she's looking at the Red Keep, which is what her family built.
So then why didn't she fly to the Red fucking Keep?
Because she wanted to kill all of them first. I'm waiting for...
Why?
Because she wanted to. That's Danny's choice.
Okay. Of course it's her choice. She's the one on the dragon.
Exactly.
But that doesn't... their explanation doesn't hold water.
Oh.
If she was staring at the Red Keep and her enemies in the Red Keep, she should have flown to the Red Keep.
Okay. How about this? What
It took her the entire episode.
What if Bran warged into Drogon to make her look terrible?
Oh my god, that's like Plex. Plex hit me with a text earlier about the Varys poisoning. He's like, "What if Varys wasn't poisoning her? What if he was driving her mad?"
That'd be crazy.
I'm like, "There's nothing to support that."
I mean,
I could sit here and be like, "What if Varys was roofing her?"
oh yeah. Okay, good idea. I like that.
Like
All
we can
right.
just fucking make shit up.
That's cool. Yeah.
Anyway,
It's
alright.
whoa. We can just make it up. It's a fantasy novel where it was all made up.
But they're making it up. We're making shit up for them because we don't have information because they're not doing a good job of providing the information, sir.
Counterpoint, doesn't that make the show even better? Because
No, brother.
we are so engaged in this show that we're making things up.
I'm
Think
not
of how
watching it to
amazing
be
that
a
is.
choose your own adventure.
Oh, but really we are. Let's keep moving.
This guy. Okay, so Danny starts blowing the city to bits. We totally skipped Arya and the Hound and Jamie.
Bueno.
Euron and Jamie fight.
I am the man that killed Jamie Lannister.
Some people felt some kind of way about that fight. I didn't care. Jamie's trying to make his way to Cersei.
Yep.
So are Arya and the Hound.
Yep.
At the 1 yard line, the Hound convinces Arya in also a very touching scene that some people had a problem with. I actually did not.
No, I thought it was great.
He convinces her to pull back, not to waste her life needlessly. Mm-hmm. He proceeds. We get
Clegane Bowl.
We get the Clegane Bowl, which is amazing.
It was great. Great.
Amazing.
Yo, what he did to Qyburn just...
fucking perfect. It was just... Qyburn went exactly how I want.
Yeah, how Qyburn should have gone. Yeah. Absolutely. What was weird, though, and I will tell you about that scene, was Cersei just kind of like, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Like, and she just walked past everybody. You know?
Yeah. So there was a little bit of a discussion about how much... had always been a discussion about how much sentience...
Yeah. Sir McGregor had, yeah. McGregor.
Yeah, so that was cool to see that he still had a little bit of himself in there, enough of at least his hatred of his brother was there enough to have that fight, and that fight was great.
Yeah, great
especially
fight.
with like the dragon flying in the background.
That was a cool scene. Yeah,
and all the cutting back and forth between him and Arya.
Yeah.
And then, awesome.
And then you had like the best scene was when he just yelled, "Fucking die!"
Yeah,
and then he wouldn't, and then he just started laughing.
Yeah,
he just like
it was fucking awesome.
Because I think at that point he knew exactly what he had to do to end this all.
Yeah,
and it was so amazingly done. Again, kudos to the writers. D&D, you guys are really killing it.
I'm gonna smack you. All right, so then we get Cersei and Jaime down in the skull dragon skull's room in like the tombs or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Jaime walks up to the entrance that he thought he was going to get out of, and shit,
nope,
it's blocked.
And they die in each other's arms,
fulfilling the Valonqar prophecy.
How?
Can I ask you a couple questions? Was she crying? Were his hands around her neck?
Sure.
Did the life get sucked out of her?
It got smashed out of her.
Yeah,
and not in the fun way.
She suffocated, correct? Because of all that.
No.
Yes, she did.
No.
Yes,
you get crushed. You don't get suffocated.
Shit.
Okay.
Guess what?
Two totally different things.
Prophecy fulfilled.
Okay. No. So that sucked.
That was great. I thought it was great. I thought it was such a cool way. To fulfill the prophecy and
piss people off.
I don't give a shit. Hey, listen, that's a you guys thing, not a me thing.
Like, this guy's been off for 3 weeks and is on tremendo heel turn right now.
You guys, listen, this hating guy on this
is basically, I don't even know, Chris Jericho in WCW circa 1998. Wearing Prince Iakea's skirt and armbar. Yeah, that's where you're at right now.
Listen, let me tell you right now.
Holy shit, dude.
And no, I generally feel this. Don't do that. Don't. I generally feel this. It was such a cool way to fulfill a prophecy where everyone thought that they knew the answer to. And guess what? You didn't.
Okay, but that's not the problem that people have. We talked about this off the air. We're going to talk about it later, but that's not the problem that people have.
You know what? People are stupid.
Sure. I'm stupid?
Everyone is.
Okay. All right. So they die. Arya is
useless.
I don't think she was trying to save people. John's fucking looking around like, oh shit. So we should mention that John and Grey Worm exchanged like this look when he was trying to stop the Northerners from, engaging in the sacking of King's Landing.
Well, Grey Worm was fulfilling his right as an Unsullied to decimate a city, and he did.
I get it. I don't have an objection with what Grey Worm did. He was following his queen's lead. So
and I think he was finally able to release some of his emotions that he had.
For sure, 100%. But John was trying to stop the Northerners from participating in that.
Absolutely,
and that's going to have consequences later.
That's like when you're at a family picnic and all the other cousins are misbehaving, and you tell your kids, "You better sit down."
Yeah, exactly. Then you have Arya trying to get out of the city. She's getting blown to bits. As the city's getting blown to bits.
At that point, she's got to be thinking, right? She's got to be thinking, I should have taken Gendry's offer.
Yeah, for sure. Then she wakes up and she sees Harry Strickland's horse?
No. So there was a lot of going back and forth, right? It might have been Harry Strickland's horse, and I think it was, but I almost also believe that Harry Strickland's horse got ripped in half.
Okay.
In the beginning of that battle. Maybe not. Could be a lot of white horses. Know that there are a lot of white horses out there. But in any case,
do you think that was sent to her by Bran?
No. I think it was
because that was like the only living thing besides her in that shot.
I know. I think it was more of an homage to the Book of Revelations. Death
Behold
riding
the pale horse.
Death riding on a pale horse. Again,
I'm familiar.
Again, great writing.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
Great writing.
I'll give you that. All right. So that's the episode.
Yeah.
Then in the previews, we just see kind of a victorious Dany walking to amongst her an enormous army all of a sudden.
Yeah, they all respawned.
Yeah. So she's not only the Mad Queen, she's the Night Queen.
Yeah. Yes, she's the Night Queen now.
And that's it. And that's pretty much all we see.
Yeah, we don't get much else. So we'll get into the predictions later of what we think is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's pretty much how the episode went down. Now we can kind of get into
what we believe.
The nitpicking. So let me start with the stuff. Let's start with the stuff that I didn't have a problem with because I think you and I will agree on most of this stuff.
Okay.
So I love the scene with Arya and the Hound.
Great scene.
I talked to some people throughout the week whose argument was that, Arya was, Cersei's been on her list all this time, and why couldn't the Hound have talked her out of it on their way to Winterfell, and this and that and the other. And this is what I gotta say about that. When they were riding to Winterfell, he was perfectly fine with her trying to go kill Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
When there's a dragon bringing the castle and the entire city down around them, it changes the game.
Everything. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where he's like, you don't have to let vengeance consume you so that it literally kills you.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fine. I thought that, my other buddy Fung said that having Arya on the ground only served to have somebody the audience cares about on the ground during all that carnage.
Yeah, but Davos could have been that person.
Yeah, true. But Davos, there's no objective reason why Davos should have survived.
Anywhere. Where did Davos grow up?
In Flea Bottom.
Where's Flea Bottom?
In King's Landing.
So he essentially has an even more connection to the people down there and running around.
Yeah, I just don't think that Davos is fleet of foot enough to have survived.
But again, this is where I think the writers did such a great job by not putting him in there. Mm-hmm. You wanted it more, and you're like, man, I wonder what that is. So you have to drive your imagination to think of that. So it's crazy. It's really cool. I would love to see what happens next episode.
Yeah. So I didn't have a problem with anything with Arya. You're such a dick. I really didn't. What else? I did not have a problem with how Cersei and Jaime died.
No, neither did I.
I just had a problem with how Jaime ended up there. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
I didn't have a problem with Jaime and Euron's fight.
Okay. I thought it was fine. It was a fine. I think at that point, listen. Here's the thing, because again, I'm not very familiar with Euron from the books.
Much different character.
And from what I've heard, he's a much different character. He's like awesome in the books, right? Great. He's not like that in the show. Mm-hmm. So the fight, I think, did it service. Like, it did exactly what it needed to do. It injured Jaime enough so that you were like, oh man, this guy's...
Yeah, the only beef I'll have with that is that Jaime shouldn't have died from that second stab to the fucking kidney.
Yeah.
There's no way he should have made it
all the way
to Cersei.
There, yeah.
I think, and they said this on Talk to Thrones right after, I think there was an interesting story to have been told if they would have added this dimension to Euron's character where he was always obsessed with Jaime ever since the Siege of Pike.
Yeah, I heard
and
that.
Whatever. And I agree with that 100%. I agree with that take 100%.
And maybe he was. We just didn't get to see it.
Because the writers suck.
No, because the writers wanted us to find it in the books. They're really forcing us to read the books.
Tú eres un mamagüevo, te lo juro que sí. So, what else?
It's
Tyrion and Jaime, their scene together was
great.
Really nice, really touching. Bad writing. When Jaime says, I don't care about the innocents, it's totally inconsistent with his character.
Yes.
It's inconsistent with all the motivations that they've written, the writers have written for this character throughout the entire show. So I thought that was a little indefensible. How Varys died was great. We agree on that already.
Yes.
And then the scene with Jon and Dany, while I feel is incomplete, the scene itself was super well acted. And this is the other thing. Let's talk about visually. This season has been amazing. Stunning.
Yeah.
That shot of fucking Arya when she's like, they're kind of zoomed out and the alleys behind her and all the rubble. It's an amazing shot. It's immediately like on fucking Instagram all over the place. This was a visually stunning episode. The Drogon behind Dany to execute Varys, like you mentioned earlier.
The acting's been great too.
Yeah,
the acting's been great
with the shit that they've been given to do. Yeah. It's been great.
Yeah, it's really hard sometimes for actors to live up to the writing, and they've been able to do it.
So have you seen all this stuff about?
I'm on Reddit. I've seen everything
about the when the actors themselves have been asked about this season.
I saw the video clip
and
already.
all of their reactions and shit like that.
Yes, and Emilia Clarke's best season ever.
And Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Nikolai Coster-Waldau about how they've compressed
A bunch of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just the fans. Mm-hmm. So we're clear. Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome.
No, they love the writing. They do. They love the writers.
So is there anything you didn't like before we go down my list?
Let's see. No, it was great. I liked it all. There were some questions that I had about how Drogon got so far behind the wall and then blew out the wall behind the Golden Company. But whatever. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, if he's going along the wall blowing out the scorpions, then he cuts back through over the city.
I guess you're right.
That's
Okay. All right. But besides that, no. Great episode. I thought, again, the visuals were amazing. Really, I was left wanting more, which is what you always want from an episode. And I kind of felt like this episode was it. This is what we needed to get back on track. Like, we're here now. Like, Danny's gonna... So, the fun thing about Game of Thrones is that you never know who the bad guy is in the term, right? You've always, like... Cersei has always been the big bad, right?
So was Joffrey.
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying. Hold on. Cersei has always been the bad since episode 1.
Sure.
Right? Now, then you had Tywin, Joffrey... Ramsay. Then you had
the Night King.
The Night King Euron for a second.
Not really.
But he wasn't what we thought he was going to be, right? And now we have Danny, who is kind of the bad guy. So I think that the emotional journey that we've been on through all of these seasons, all 8 seasons, has been really fun. And I gotta admit, it's cool to be like, yeah, man, I really liked that character, and now you're like, man, I really liked you, but you are a genocidal maniac. And so, funny enough, same thing could be said about Arya. You know, Arya was a sweet girl, kind of spunky, spry, and then she started murdering people. Yet we're still very much like, hey, we really like you.
She hasn't murdered innocent people. She didn't murder any of the women at the Frey celebration. Did you?
She murdered the Night King.
Okay,
but the Night King brings people back from the dead
to murder people.
To then bring them back from the dead.
To murder more people.
And to bring them back from the dead.
But they're still murdering people. The initial thing here is murder.
Okay. But here's the thing. If you've got to eat to survive...
He does, but he's not doing this to serve. We don't know what his motivations are because they never took the time to explain
They
it, sir.
didn't want to, so they wanted us to find them. We've got to go find the motivations.
It's a choose your own adventure story.
I think so.
It's not fucking, what was that shit on Netflix from Black Mirror?
Oh, great episode.
Doofenshmirtz or whatever it was called.
Doofenshmirtz Incorporated.
There you go. So, do you want to get into the Mad Queen conversation now?
Sure, let's go. Mad Queen conversation.
So,
take 1.
The entire week, obviously, the biggest story here was Danny's heel turn earned? Did the writers do enough to set it up and justify the heel turn and take us on that journey with her? Rather than just give you a montage in the previously on of some lines that she said. So let's take what you just said for starters.
Okay.
Yes, for the 7 seasons prior to this, she has repeatedly, I will take what is mine with fire and blood and this and that and the other.
I will break the wheel.
Yeah. None of those things have ever involved, none of those threats ever involved murdering innocent people. With the exception of when she got back to Marine after she had been captured by the Khalasar, sorry. And she's like, I will burn their cities to the ground, whatever. That was the one time that she'd expressed any kind of tendency to go after civilians. Every other act that she's done and everything else she's done has always been against either opponents in a war or the slavers.
So there was precedent, though.
There was one precedent.
Okay, it's a precedent.
There's many more precedents establishing her as a good person.
Okay.
There's the initial, like when her and Drogo first are married this how he eventually died.
He raped her. Yeah, he raped her.
How he eventually died was his Khalasar wanted to rape some chicks. His Khalasar wanted to rape some of the Lazarene women in the village. She ordered them to stop. One of his blood riders got mad, challenged Drogo to a fight. That's when he got his nipple cut. That shit got infected. Miri Mazdur did her blood magic. Drogo ends up dying because she was saving innocent people from exactly what happened in this episode. Okay, after they had captured a village or whatever.
Uh-huh.
All her shit about liberating slaves, okay, throughout Slaver's Bay.
But there are no slaves in King's Landing.
But they're still innocent people. The point is, she always established herself as a character who was a protector of the innocent and the defenseless. She was the voice of the voiceless, like CM Punk. Do you understand? So there's no precedent for her all of a sudden when she's on the dragon and they've surrendered to go on and kill women and children. That's the part that people are upset about. And there's no precedent for that.
Yeah, there is. It's called her being crazy and a Targaryen.
But they didn't establish her being crazy.
But they did establish her being a Targaryen.
So it doesn't matter.
And Targaryens go crazy.
Jon is half Targaryen.
But Jon is half Targaryen. You said it yourself. You're agreeing with me. Jon is half Targaryen. He's not full Targaryen. She is full Targaryen. And again, remember, we know what happens to people's genetic makeup when they're bred from incest, right?
Were you at Auburn when those inbred f***s over at Alabama poisoned your tree?
Uh-huh.
So,
but not every Targaryen has been crazy. Jaehaerys Targaryen was an amazing king. Aegon's sisters were fine. You had Maegor the Cruel, sure. But you had Aegon the Unlikely, Aegon the Unworthy. All those guys were fine. So it's not every Targaryen that's crazy.
I get it. But maybe it skips a couple generations.
Aemon Targaryen, the guy who was the Maester at Castle Black, was not crazy.
No, again, skip the generation.
Okay, no. There's no precedent to establish. After you've developed this character arc for all this time, there needed to be more done to set this up.
I think there needed to be less done.
No. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about, did she actually snap? Because I have a theory.
Okay, I think she decided that she was going to rule by fear. And that the people that she went and killed, the quote-unquote Intocents of King's Landing, the ones that were burned by Dragonfire, those people were murdered so that the others who survived in King's Landing would see that and be like, okay, I'm going to fear her.
Else.
Yeah, I'm going to fear her now.
Wow. It's like we're friends and we share a brain. Because that's exactly... I think the minute that Jon refused to lay the pipe... She said, fuck it.
Fear.
And her decision was, I'm going to sacrifice the citizens of this city to bring all the other ones
in line.
Especially in starting with the ones up north.
Yep.
So I think this was done to send a message.
Yeah.
And she doesn't give a shit if King's Landing is ruins because she still has the entire rest of Westeros that she needs to bring into the fold. Now, here's my question for you.
Go ahead.
Couldn't have this all been avoided if Tyrion would have done his job properly.
Yes, but we've seen in the last couple seasons that Tyrion cannot do his job properly.
But again, he was built for 5 seasons to as the best person to do this job. And then all of a sudden these ridiculous decisions come to bear which undo 5 seasons worth of 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Because right up until the scene that we were talking about when she in that petition when they're sailing across the narrow sea, he was cool.
I get it.
And then all of a sudden it's like he forgets how to do his job.
Okay, well, case in point, clear example. Okay, and I know you'll understand this one. Bo Dallas was NXT champion, and now what is he doing?
I don't know.
Characters change, and sometimes they fall down.
Yeah, but that's bad writing.
No, that's human.
No, because Bo Dallas isn't responsible for the fact that he's a scripted character.
He might be. Well, so is Tyrion.
Exactly. So it's bad writing.
He's a scripted character.
It's bad writing that he was a fucking dope character, that he's smart and clever and one of the smartest men in Westeros, and then goes to shit because of bad writing. There's nothing there's nothing to suggest that he suddenly turned into a fucking moron. There's nothing to suggest. There's no explanation for why he suddenly turned into a fucking moron.
Bro, that's just like a basketball player who goes 3 for 10 one night, and they're usually.
But this is not one night, dude.
Well,
this has been
over the course of
the
you're telling me
entire reign since she got to Westeros.
But what you're telling me is that people don't hit slumps. What about your Yankees?
Well, yo, you better respect my Yankees right now.
What about your
They got
Yankees?
more people on the disabled list and they have losses. So, más respeto.
Yeah?
Más respeto.
Well, what about your Marlins then? Last team to win a championship at Yankee Stadium. Old Yankee Stadium.
Uh-huh.
The real Yankee Stadium.
Sure. Listen to me. Tyrion from the stupid plan to split the forces
Yeah.
to half of them to Casterly Rock, the other half to go pick up the Dornish. Number one, why not send Dragon air support on those missions? If you send Dragon air support on those missions, Euron cannot destroy both your fleets.
Yeah.
Your fleets are intact. It was a bad plan to begin with,
Yes.
and then you don't have the best weapon at your disposal. You don't use it for air support. Fine. Then you come up with stupid plan to go get the white
Dumb plan.
beyond the wall.
Yeah.
All right. Ridiculous plan. Costing your queen one of her dragons.
No, but that plan was so that he could have the dragon.
Okay. Couldn't they have just written earlier in the season or earlier in the show, written in the fucking horn that they talk about in the books, and have the Night King bring the wall? Have Jon and Dany try to fly the dragons to fight the Night King on their own after he first breaches the wall, and then he takes... Like, you could have still written this for him to end up with a dragon without it revolving around this absurd plan and making Tyrion look like an idiot, is my point. Right? Like, it's just...
But they needed to get a white down to King's Landing.
For what? Cersei didn't do anything. The only purpose that served was to make...
Get Jamie on board?
But, okay, but that doesn't serve anything either, because he went right back. What did Jamie do in the Battle of Winterfell? Nothing. His contribution was zero. If he's there or he's not there, it doesn't change the story one iota. One iota. That's the problem. There's all this shit is mad flimsy because they wrote it stupid. Jamie going to Winterfell was pointless. The only thing that it served was him knighting Brienne.
And that was a great scene.
Okay, it was amazing, but was that enough to make Jamie look like an idiot too?
But then he had sex with Brienne.
And was it enough to make Tyrion look like an idiot? No.
Well, the Lannisters are idiots.
But they haven't been. For 6 seasons, they haven't been. That's my point.
I really like how the writers use this to emulate real life.
Okay.
People snap sometimes, man. They just
Tyrion,
snap.
I can't wait to see Tyrion die next episode, is my point.
I really hope he doesn't die
I
now.
really
hope he doesn't die now.
want Dany to have Drogon eat him in one... Don't even waste dragon fire on him. Just fucking eat him in one gulp.
I really hope he doesn't.
Like, I want him to
That'd be the
die
best.
by the dragon's stomach acids. That's how I want Tyrion to die. For being a schmuck.
I really do. I really hope he doesn't die now. I really like. I want him to survive. You know what I want? I want him to sit on the King's Council
No.
to end the show.
Okay, so end the show.
Yeah.
We're gonna do 2 things.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, since we're to finish up this rant, I'm gonna tell you how I would have written the last 2 seasons very briefly,
Okay. Go.
going into this, and then we'll talk about the predictions for the finale.
Heard.
All right. So this is what I would have done had I been writing this.
Okay.
Dany crosses the Narrow Sea.
Yes.
Dany and the 3 dragons go straight to the Red Keep. Take out Cersei.
Okay.
Okay. She's queen now.
Okay.
Now the remainder of the show is building up to the battle with the Night King, right? Jon goes south to negotiate with Dany, yada yada yada. Obviously, I didn't write out every single episode, but what I'm trying to tell you is I would have made the Night King the more central figure. You still have an opportunity for Dany to lose dragons. All this shit could have still happened. Dany and Jon to fall in love, and all the other political intrigue about Jon's parentage or whatever, without having to artificially and shoddily weaken Dany just to have this matchup with Cersei mean something. You get what I'm saying?
I understand what
They
you're
could
saying.
have built to the Night King as opposed to built to Cersei and do all this stupid shit to make Dany and her people look like idiots in the meantime. That's how I would have written it. I think the story would have flowed better.
I mean, it makes sense to a certain extent. I have always thought it was weird that they decided to go after the Night King first. But I get it. Jon implored them, and Jon really fought hard to get them to go after the Night King, and she fell in love with Jon, and, there it is. But I always thought it was a little bit weird. You had a lot of time. What's sacrificing Winterfell if you're still going to fight the Night King anyway at some point? So yeah, fine with it. I like it. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not as good as what we have right now. I love what we have right now, but
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So what do you think what do you think we're going on Sunday?
We got one episode left.
Yeah.
We got about an hour and 15 minutes, right?
Just about. The runtime for this one was exactly an hour and 15 minutes. Even though it says 78 minutes is an hour and 15 minutes.
So, bold predictions.
Okay.
Danny dies.
That's not that bold.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Avant. I think I was like miles ahead of other people. I think Danny dies.
Who kills her?
I want to say John. I want to say John has to kill her.
Okay. Most people are betting on Arya.
Oh yeah, I know. I see that. I see that most
Death.
people are betting on Arya. That death is going to beat her, and that Arya becomes somehow Azor Ahai, right? Because she's the one who takes out the biggest threat. Because now Danny is the biggest threat, right?
Right.
After that, I don't know, because I don't know how to explain if whomever, Arya or John, killed Danny. I don't know how to explain how they would survive the Dothraki and the Unsullied
And Drogon?
and Drogon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So Plex and Fung were like, oh, but they're elite, mainly Plex, like, oh, they're like a leaderless army. They don't matter. They could have get taken out by all their forces. I'm like, no. There's if there were 40,000 Dothraki to begin with, and they only lost half, that means there's 20,000.
yeah, you're done.
And if there was 8,000 Unsullied to start, that means there's still 4,000 Unsullied left. That's bigger than any of the other remaining forces anywhere.
Yeah, you're
There's
done.
no forces in the Riverlands. There's no forces in the Westerlands. There's nothing left in the Crownlands.
Yeah.
You've got the Knights of the Vale and the armies of the North, and that's not enough to fight the dragon.
And you got the Dornish army.
The Dornish army's stuck in Dorne. They're not doing anything. They haven't done anything. Dorne has been the most useless fucking thing outside of the Night King's generals and the Golden Company. So I agree with you. I it's hard to account for that if Danny dies. But
I think that's it, though. I think that Danny dies.
Then if Danny dies, who sits the Iron Throne? Jon?
No. I don't see Jon ever taking the Iron Throne.
Okay.
I see people wanting to give it to him, and he advocates. The then question would be, and I've thought this out, right? So I thought a couple things. So the theory, the ways I've played this out. First one was Arya kills Danny, and Jon has to somehow kill Drogon. I don't know how that happens, but whatever.
It's like we're sharing a fucking brain.
Then Arya, knowing that the Unsullied and the Dothraki are going to be super pissed at her, disappear. And she can. She's the one who's well equipped to just disappear, right?
Or does she wear Danny's face to control the Unsullied?
Oh, that'd be
and the
funny.
Dothraki?
That'd be cool. But she has to disappear or something, right? I could see Jon then advocating the throne and going north.
On the wall with Tormund and shit?
I don't even think going north of the wall. I think Jon becomes the head of
the North?
the Warden of the North, or the head of Castle Black almost. Like I think Jon just wants to get the hell away from
There's
everybody.
no castle, but there's no more Night's Watch.
And I get it. There's no need for a Night's Watch, but then maybe they convert the castle into just a regular castle. Like he can run it, he can be there, he can help work on even better relations between the South and the wildlings. Who knows, right? But I definitely see him like just getting away, being like, I'm done with this shit. I'm over you people. It sucks. I'm out of here. Then that leaves who would be the king? Gendry, maybe. He was legitimized, or Bran, and then Sansa could be the North, and then you would definitely have everyone working together, right? So that's if Arya does it, right? If Jon kills Danny, I could definitely see Jon then turning himself in and being like, yeah, this is what I did. I'm such a terrible person, whatever, this kind of horse nonsense. And then I could see him, because of all of his accolades and everything, they banish him to Castle Black. That explains how he gets there, even though there doesn't need to be a Night's Watch anymore, right? They banish him. They say, we're not going to murder you, buddy, because you've done everything all great, but we're going to banish you to Castle Black. Never leave Castle Black. That's where you are. And then you have the group of like Davos and Tyrion, who's going to survive, Sansa and the Dornish people coming in, and maybe Robin coming over, and they figure out who's going to be the king.
They do like a great council, like in the books.
Yeah,
okay.
And then they figure out who's going to be the king.
Okay.
That could work. The Unsullied thinking that, or at least knowing that, some type of justice has been served by their killing their queen, can go back to the Essos and do whatever they want. The Unsullied and the Dothraki can go back to Essos. They're just like, yo, fuck this. I'm done being over here. Your country sucks. They go back to Essos, and maybe they do their own thing. The Dothraki can go back to the sand. They can do what they need to do, that kind of shit. And then you have, and this goes back to what I had said at the first podcast, you have a Westeros that's run almost, not wholly, but almost democratically, with a council, everyone who's left.
Well, in the books, the Great Council there was this problem, there was no heir.
Oh.
So they had to summon a Great Council to choose
who's the new,
which of the potential candidates would be.
Okay. Well, I could see them using that Great Council now to figure things out for Westeros. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That one, now that I've talked it out, seems a little bit more plausible, where that explains why Jon would go to Castle Black, because they'd said, be gone, right?
Yeah.
And it explains a bunch. What it doesn't explain is what the hell would happen to Drogon. And I could see that Drogon, if Dany gets murdered, he would just look at her and be like, oh, okay, and then fly away.
Well, so there's two things about that. Dragons bond with their riders for the life of the rider. Mm-hmm. They will accept another rider if their rider is killed.
Murdered, yeah.
Oh, whatever, dead, however it is. Here's the problem. Dany's not just his rider, Dany's his mother.
Yeah.
So I don't know that he's going to just be like, all right, cool.
Well, maybe what happens is maybe wherever they bury Dany, Drogon just lays there until he dies.
Like he's going to go emo?
Yeah.
It's a fucking drag. Okay. I mean, possible. Unlikely, but possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Or maybe he flies to where all of those the scaly men live. Over in Essos. Isn't that where dragons used to run free and all that
Valyria.
shit? Valyria, yeah. He flies over to Valyria and just hangs out in Valyria.
But again, I don't think he's just going to leave and accept that they killed his mom. Feel me?
Well, now we're anthropomorphizing a dragon.
But that's been established. He came down when she was in the fighting pit in Marine and saved her.
That's true. But that's only because they have the telekinetic connection.
Okay.
Telepathic connection.
Anything else?
No.
No. I just want to make sure.
I'm great.
The prediction.
Uh-huh.
And then I have what I think the writers should do to double down on what they've written so far.
Okay.
So we're on the same page. I think Arya kills Dany.
Okay.
Jon dies somehow fighting Drogon.
Okay.
Because I thought once Jon said goodbye to Ghost, he was dead. So Jon dies somehow killing Drogon.
Okay.
I do think we're gonna get some kind of single combat with Jon and Grey Worm.
Okay.
And that's how Jon will beat Grey Worm, and Grey Worm will die, leaving the Unsullied literally leaderless.
Leaderless, yeah.
And then Jon and Drogon take each other out. That's gonna be a little clunky, but whatever. Sansa sits the Iron Throne.
Okay.
I don't know what becomes of the Dothraki and the Unsullied in that case either, unless she can somehow convince them to fight for her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I don't know. That's, details aside, I think that's more or less what they're going to do. Now, this is what I would do if I was them.
Mm-hmm.
I would fuck all that. Dany murders Tyrion. Arya tries to kill Dany. That fails. Jon tries to convince Dany
to not kill Arya.
No, and just, whatever. Like, he tries to come at her with all this shit about you killed all these people, blah, blah. Grey Worm beats Jon in single combat. All right? Dany wins. Dany flies fucking north on Drogon, makes fucking Sansa bend the knee. Show ends with a pregnant Dany on the Iron Throne and Drogon with 3 dragon eggs fucking chilling.
That's cool.
That's the only way that you're going to not drive all the Dany stans who are fucking super butthurt right now. Totally insane.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, actually. I like that ending. That's cool. I'm with it.
That's how I'd end it.
I'm with it.
To give the man, you reestablish the Targaryen dynasty.
Yeah. For being the face of this podcast, that's a very heel ending.
It is, but they've written themselves into a heel corner.
Yeah.
So this is the WrestleMania's got to end with the heel holding
the
title.
belt. Yeah.
This cannot be. I mean, it can. It can be whatever they want.
This can't be this past WrestleMania,
right?
Where all the heels won.
Where all the heels lost.
A lot. Yeah. All the heels lost. All the faces won.
Yeah. You just can't. I think they wrote themselves into that corner.
Okay.
I don't think they'll have the balls to do it, but I think they wrote themselves into that corner.
Okay. I'm with you. Yeah.
As long as Tyrion dies.
Okay. That's your breaking point there.
Yeah. If Tyrion somehow sits the Iron Throne, I will join the chorus of fucking
this show
hatred.
sucks.
Yeah. No. it's still the greatest show ever made. But man, will I be really pissed off.
So what's been really funny is on the Free Folk on Reddit, it has really turned into a Lord of the Rings group now, because apparently Amazon is working on a Lord of the Rings series.
So,
Yeah, and so now they're like, oh, this is, it's all about Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing. So it's pretty neat to see these two groups start to clash. But it's really hard when the writing has been so good on Game of Thrones that you cannot argue with the Lord of the Rings. Like, what is Lord of the Rings? That shit is garbage. A dragon had, a needle in his foot, and that's why he was so mad or something? That's dumb.
Which
Smeagol, wasn't that his thing?
I don't even... No, that was The Hobbit. That wasn't Lord of the Rings.
Who cares? It's all the same thing, right?
Sure.
Garbage.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the Hobbit movies.
I wasn't crazy about any of those movies.
No, I like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
It had 9 endings. 9.
So...
And every actor ever.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of like the two things.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good. I'm actually excited to see this. It's going to be really difficult to figure out what I want to watch on Sunday because Money in the Bank is this Sunday too.
Money in the Bank is this Sunday. I don't care.
Yeah. And I won't be around because I'll be eating dinner because I'm going to be out of town again.
Oh, how about that? I'm glad we got to caught you. I'm glad we caught you.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes being this busy and being able to sit down. I've got to let you guys know that this is a labor sometimes to come here. So, I hope you enjoy it. You better enjoy it because shit. Who knows?
Awesome.
Who knows when I'll be back?
So,
5 stars if you love us, 5 stars if you hate us. Remember, always check us out on every one of your podcast apps. Check us out on Instagram, Back of the Bus Podcast. Check us out on emails. You can't really check us out, but you can send us an email if you want. backofthebusmiami@gmail.com. Yeah. All right.
Subscribe, rate, review.
Subscribe, rate, review.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Also, check out Crime Talk with TNZ.
Yeah, Crime Talk with TNZ. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Check their Instagram page, Crime Talk TZ.
We are looking very much forward to this Sunday's episode.
We are. I can't wait to see where the writers go with this. All right, all of you ingrates out there who think that you know better than DD, you guys don't know jack nothing. All right, these guys are amazing writers. And I just posted it on our Instagram page too. David Benioff helped write one of the best X-Men movies ever, X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, if you guys want to talk about precedent setting and being able to take fantasy and comics and just really go with them and really stretch them to their limits, these guys know what they're doing.
Yo.
Next up, Star Wars. I can't wait for that.
You are in Bobby the Brain Heenan territory right now. It is amazing. All right, yeah. Peace out, everybody.
Later.
Lord Varys, I, Daenerys of House Targaryen, first of my name, breaker of chains and mother of dragons, sentence you to die. Dracarys.